Never thought I'd be like at sunset in Texas walking arm in arm with Erykah Badu while she's smoking a
I
joint.
mean, don't even. Jay, thanks so much for being with us today. It's brilliant. Got a chance to meet you IRL a few months ago. I love that. We instantly connected on a couple of things, which I'm looking forward to talk to you about. For folks that don't know me, I'm Sam. I've been an agent for 25 years and I'm global brand director at B&A. I am based in London. We're currently in New York.
Thanks for having me.
Could you tell us a bit more about yourself, Jay?
I'm a photographer based near New York, Brooklyn specifically. The majority of the work that I do is portrait work, and I found myself in entertainment. I grew up loving movies and television, and years and years later, I would find myself kind of helping support a lot of that now on the photo end.
Currently New York, you've traveled a lot, right? You've lived in different places,
Yeah.
but then equally you've had a bit of an education pathway that's been unique to yourself. Like
100%. Yeah, it's been quite a journey to get to this point. And, I've only been with B&A for about 2 years now.
that's correct.
So, not brand new, but still feels fresh. Yeah, to get to this point, I'm from California, and after that I lived in Atlanta. You and I connected on my time in London when I lived there.
That's right.
And then from London back to Atlanta and then moved to New York. And now it's been 20 years in New York. And I'm like, wow, can't believe that.
And do you find that by living in those different places, that each place has given you a little something else?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, let alone just, cultural influence, just connections that I've made over the years. There's just so many people in all those places that I'm still directly connected to through work or through inspiration or through art.
What's the pie chart, do you reckon?
The pie chart? Honestly, the biggest part of the pie is London.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I feel like
Well, as an American person living in London, you've had a different vision on it or something, or like?
I just got so much from it.
Okay, cool. I love that. Atlanta was seminal for you too, right? Was that?
Oh, 100%.
There was a couple of bigger moments in your career. Was that one of your first ever celebrity shoots there, was it?
Well, no, actually, I've only been back to Atlanta to shoot a couple times. Actually, I take that back. Now that you say that out loud, I'm like, is it actually? It is. Might be one of my first more like kind of
Wasn't
celebrity
it like
shoots.
Sarah Jessica Parker or something?
Oh, that was here. Actually.
Oh, was that
was in New York?
Okay.
Yeah, that was
I'm
in New
sure
York.
there was someone super fancy
Yeah.
or something.
This is actually a less known person, but he's sort of a celebrity in the music world. So that was kind of like a big deal that I would go hang out with this DJ Selecta, who's produced so many amazing tracks over the years. I would go down to Atlanta for my first like kind of pre big celeb, shoot. But Jessica Parker was my first big one that everyone would know. And that was here. That was really interesting and scary. It was a sort of one-off where it was an opportunity to take a picture of her. She was opening up her first Fifth Avenue store, so it's a big deal. But I was asked to come on to do like a press picture. And so, it wasn't like a big team behind me. I was literally by myself. And we were in the shoe store, but they wanted a nice portrait. And, no time to set up. You're just like, hey, step over. We're ready now, immediately. Yeah. So, I just put the light in place. And I tried to treat her in a manner at that time, being sort of new into that arena, like as an equal. And that was also an experience where I normally rely on like these instincts of mine to bring people down and like ease them and put them at ease. And it was a reminder that, with such a big star, like they like to be reminded that they're special.
Yeah.
And so, she reminded me in the most polite way, just by saying, I've done this before. Okay. And I was like, of course, I took a step back and we shot for like 45 seconds, but I put her, maybe 90 seconds, minute and a half, but I put her in 3 different positions in the store and we got some really nice stuff. And then we walked away like that and that was it. And that was my first one. And like, it was so quick.
Yeah. And
like, I think they look great. It was, I made them look like there was some production behind it, but yeah, that was an interesting one.
When was that?
I think that was like 2017, 18.
Okay. Yeah.
Honestly, just a couple of years before I really, made photography a career, when I like fully stopped assisting other people and doing other projects on the side and was really just shooting.
What was that transition moment as well? Like, at what point were you like, I'm ready?
Oh, wow.
Or was it because someone else told you already?
You
just got hired.
I know, right? I wish. That would be amazing. I mean, honestly, it's a combination of things. One of the things that helped me kind of jump into just shooting by myself was doing a really, really low paid job for It was like a 2-day job. A
Right.
producer hired me last minute on a video set to be like, "Hey, we just need stills last minute. We don't really have a budget, but it's an opportunity." I said yes. I think I made like $2,800 for the 2 days. A couple years later, the contract ended, and they ended up buying out like 15 images, and that started my career.
Amazing.
You know, like it was honestly monetary. I felt like I was ready, but having that cushion
Yeah, right.
was like, oh, I can just
Confidence.
focus. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was part of it. And then someone saying yes to me for my first cover, that was like kind of went hand in hand. It was like a couple months later. And
So you did a relatively trad route in that you studied and then you assisted.
yeah,
It's interesting because we see a lot of people coming through in different ways these days, but you can always tell the folks that have been around sets. It sounds to me like that gave you a bit of extra confidence. Like,
it really did. At that point, I had been a PA, I had been a producer, I had been a lighting assistant. I had been, worked on the advertising side as an art assistant. I had
didn't
worked
know
on the
that.
copy side.
I didn't know that.
Uh,
All right. Okay.
I'd worked on production design for 2
Yeah.
years. I just worn a lot of hats at that point. So I felt like, communication is so key. At that point, I really knew what other people's jobs were, and I understood what it took to bring projects together.
Well, and then you understand what you're asking them to do, right? Do you know what I mean? So you saying go and do that, you know how long that's going to take. So
Yeah.
I love that. That's a great way to do it.
Yeah, I think so. But you're right. A lot of people are able to, like we weren't able to before, jump into these roles now. Technology alone has like catapulted us into this like new arena of a lot of new talent, which I think is awesome because it's just a lot of it's unadulterated, just creativity, which we really need.
Yeah.
The industry absolutely needs right now. But I think something that I also focus on is just trying to bridge that gap that I think that we're sort of alluding to, which is where talent meets like the capability and productivity to be able to get projects done,
Exactly.
to be able to recreate art,
Yeah.
and to be able to also readjust when things aren't working.
Yes. And to have seen how someone else dealt with that, there's a safety net there too, right? It's like
Yeah.
the next phase of education. Seeing someone who you thought was infallible mess up, but then how they deal with that is as powerful as seeing the end beautiful result.
I went to SVA and I loved that experience. I love SVA still, like great school, but the majority of my education was on set.
Yeah.
Like where I really learned the things that I'm applying now, I was on set. And that's,
Yeah.
that osmosis that you're talking about, that I had to really suck that in. I had to really be around other people and watch other people and watch them make mistakes
Yeah.
and watch them succeed.
Yeah. Recent shoots then, you've shot Erykah Badu recently, right?
Yeah, that was a
That's
highlight.
pretty
Yeah,
iconic.
she's amazing.
Yeah.
Never thought I'd be like at sunset in Texas walking arm in arm with Erykah Badu while she's smoking a joint.
I mean, don't even...
Fantastic.
Probably like late 90s as studying, and Erykah Badu was just a bit of a soundtrack, to be perfectly honest.
100%. I also had an older sister, like 8 years older, so
Yeah.
she was deep into Erykah Badu, already dressing like her. Like that was my inspiration through her.
But how was that? Was that
Amazing.
Yeah.
Also, really creatively challenging.
Okay.
We put that together sort of last minute. We produced that in a few days, and I was in another country talking about doing this job and not returning home, but going to Texas, where I have roots. My mom's from, and going back there and kind of trying to produce this shoot for her and make something work and make sure her and her team feel comfortable, and that we were also going to feel comfortable getting what we wanted and honoring her for the story for that cover. She received the Icon Award for that.
Honestly, I don't know how I feel like you're not old enough to have done all these things, but like you've also got a kind of a background in like dance and theater and like, performing arts and what have you. Like, how does that come into your shooting?
It does a lot. I mean, again, with the music thing, music and dance were really my first loves. I did those things the longest, and they really take part in all my shoots in some way. But what's sort of funny with the dance is that it's really been more about my subjects looking back at me. I'd say like 9 out of 10 of my subjects will stop during a shoot and be like, "What are you doing?" Yeah, I get into weird positions. The way I move when I'm behind the camera
That's fun. And now I feel like I need to see this now.
Yeah, like I don't know how to describe it, but like it's a lot of movement, and I can't help it.
Pushing the like,
But yeah, I contort myself a bit, and I'm down to get on the ground and just move around a lot. And before all the celebrities, I was shooting a lot of executives, and like
right.
I
Were
just
you
have
doing those moves then?
Yeah.
Oh,
And I think
interesting.
that's
Okay.
what also started
Oh, I love
because
that.
these are people who are not gonna always move.
So it's not like you're mirroring the type of
No,
person.
not at all. No,
Okay,
this is
that's
just who I am. And so I think that's
cool.
kind of how it's come into play. People see me and then they're entertained by me as well,
Brilliant.
equally.
Yeah,
So there's a bit of an exchange.
yeah, that's cool. Do you have any rituals before shooting?
Yeah, I'd probably say my biggest ritual before any shoot is making a playlist.
Oh, okay, that's fun.
I grew up playing music, and so
That's great.
that has a huge influence in what I do now.
Is that like a wrestler? You have an entrance tune?
Honestly, not
The
for
doors swing open. It's like
not for me, but for my subjects, yes.
I love that.
I
It's awesome.
definitely think of an entrance tune that they should walk into, and that's actually worked really well a few times where they're like,
Oh
"Oh
my
yeah,
god, this is a playlist that I
Yeah,
need to hear now.
totally." Usually, that's my indicator on if like the shoot's going well. If they've noted out loud, "Hey, like
Tune.
who's playing this?
That's
What is
great.
this?" Or they're moving. Like that's an indicator for me, and I'm looking for that indicator. I'm looking for a good time.
Something that I really want to talk about just because it was such a pivotal part of my life is skateboarding.
Bro,
Yeah.
grew up skating since I was 4. I'm from Cali. I'm like,
Yeah.
I was in Santa Cruz. I saw Tony Hawk do the 900. Like,
Yeah.
that's in my DNA. I think for me personally, it just really crafted who I am as a photographer, my skating. I think there's something so innate about like the trial and error of it all.
Yeah. Keep going.
And like
Get
keep
up.
going and get up and
Yeah.
keep
It
going
does
and
hurt.
get up and it
And
100% you're
it's
gonna get
winded
hurt
yourself
and like
yeah.
and you can sit down and figure it out and take a step back and look at it again and like
Yeah.
that process and doing it every day all day for hours until you're like can't move
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that really ingrained something into me and I approach my photography similarly now.
I like the leveler of it where you can be stoked for anyone.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
100%.
There's something cool about that. Like, Tony Hawk can land a 900, but someone could do their first ollie, and it's like, it's
Yeah,
as impressive. Like, there's something
100%.
amazing about that. I think skateboarding gave me this sort of opportunity to celebrate everyone's wins in a different way. You know what I mean?
that area of community, the skateboarding community is so particularly special. It's so competitive and so loving at the same time.
Yeah.
Especially to
yeah.
newcomers.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's really the visual culture bit for me as well. The magazines, the videos.
Yeah.
It gave me the itch. I was like, I want to make this kind of visual.
Yeah. And I mean, I know that about your work. Like,
Yeah.
it 100% translates.
Yeah. Who'd have thought I'd been able to talk about sports? It's something that really I find fascinating, but also inspiring with what you do is the amount you give back to the community. Can you talk a bit to that? And
course.
'cause obviously you're a founder. How did that come about? What were the reasons behind that? Like, what do
Totally.
you get out of it now?
I've been in here for 20 years, which is really where I can say I kind of started into this career. At that time, I was really the only Black person on most of the sets I was on. And then later, as I started to shoot for myself on really small jobs, I noticed that there weren't a lot of Black artists doing any commercial work around me. It's always been in the back of my mind. In other scenarios in my career, I've tried to put, a helping hand towards anyone around me who needed it because I knew I really did.
Yeah.
I also was turning around. I had left advertising and I had this network of people who just kind of depend on me for some insight in that arena. And I had always had a background in looking at artists. That was one of the first jobs I did in advertising. Agency on the West Coast would hire me to do the book back when we had no social media. And
About
that's,
those days.
and that's
says
all
on
we
social-
depended on. I've been looking at artists for, 18 years. And so what I was looking at female photographers growing in our industry around 2012, 2015, and kind of that explosion. Platforms like Women Photograph and so many others that really
Equal Lens, I think.
100%
Yeah.
just really pioneered and championed women behind the lens. I was like, you know what? That's been a great shift. Where am I going to put my sights? And then I looked at my own community and I was like, Black artists need help right now. It just so happened that, 6 months after I decided to sort of launch a website, the pandemic happened.
Right.
And so everyone was home and we were also talking about Black Lives Matter and that community kind of exploded. And so, I have Color Positive. I focus on Black artists, not just photographers,
Yeah,
stylists, hair,
yeah,
makeup, I'd say on the Instagram, I'm mainly posting photographer because that's, where I have my hand. But I take requests for proposals. I'm talking to agencies. We do partnerships. I'm going into schools. I'm putting other artists into schools to talk to kids. Just trying to make sure that they know that they can have a career and that there's a future and that they can use their imagination to
Someone to
create.
come and ask questions like that,
Yeah,
get an answer to probably. Like,
100%. We like, make sure that me or the artist I'm sending are actually talking about money, like answering the questions, like how much money do you make?
yeah.
Like
Do you get paid?
yeah, do you get paid?
Yeah.
Like 100%.
I'm assuming that's in America only at the moment, right?
It is. And honestly, it's in New York only. I'd like to consider myself a community activist in the sense that I'm just in this community and this is where my energy is. And so I'm in New York putting my energy back into the New York community that helped build my career.
Honestly, it's hats off to you. I just think it's really, really important to talk about practicalities and to take any fear out of it as well. Like, hey, you can do this. Like,
Totally.
I'm here. I can help you. I can support you.
And that it also doesn't have to look like the person that you're looking at. It can look like your own thing. You can make it your own.
Oh, absolutely.
Paving way your
definitely.
own way is so important.
Last year, I went into a school in South London, state school, so it's not not a private school or anything like that, and met classroom after classroom of young people, ranging from 11 to 16. Brilliant questions throughout, and I basically treated each one as if I was presenting to a client. So I didn't dumb it down, I didn't pretend. I just presented, and it's really fun. And I got some of the best questions. Interestingly, you can imagine the range. 11-year-olds, all they wanted to talk about was like, have you ever worked on Fortnite? Or like, you know what I mean? Like,
the stuff that they do.
how much does Lionel Messi make? You know what I mean? Like, because, we shoot a lot of famous people, and
Totally.
the first thing they're like, oh my God, is that like Sarah Jessica Parker or whatever that is?
Yeah.
What was fulfilling for me was just the questions. That was the bit really, really got me, because some of them were really astute and brilliant.
I think the majority of the young talent that I'm coming in contact with is learning for the first time that they have the opportunity to do what they do. And then there's a smaller section that I'm going into specifically that are art schools, art high schools, where they're making art already and they have an idea that they can do this, but they then want the ins and outs. So like I've stopped a while ago, a couple years ago, myself included, and sending artists, I tell them, don't give a presentation on your work. Show them the inner workings.
Exactly.
I get a great response when I take them through just one shoot. It could be
Yep.
Erykah Badu,
Yep.
but I'll start with the very first email that Billboard sends me when they say, "Hey Jay, are you available?"
Yeah.
I'll show them that email,
Yeah.
and then I'll show them the succession of emails after and what that correspondence is even like.
I think there's so much more valuable, isn't it? It humanizes what you do, right?
%. A lot of the young talent who are ready to shoot that I talk to, 9 out of 10 times, it's not about the work anymore. It's about, what are you bringing to the table? How do you communicate that being that is you, that makes you the artist that you are, that makes you different from the other artists? Is it the music that you play on set? Is it the way that you talk? Is it the energy that you bring? How are you communicating that through the deck, through the interview?
You also worked on that Snoop Dogg trick that he did on the internet.
Oh yeah.
That's so funny.
The stove.
The stove.
And you know what?
That guy will. I love him because he'll do anything. And
I mean,
you shot that like that. So does that mean you knew the secret? Like you would have done, I guess, right?
Yeah, definitely knew what was
Funny.
going on. I love backyard hangs and barbecues.
Yeah.
And I love smoke. And I love Snoop.
Snoop's like a national treasure now.
Snoop is a national treasure.
It's like the US mascot, like the Olympics in France. Like,
we all love Snoop, and that's more special for me because Snoop has always been connected to my family through one of my family members who makes music with him for the last like 25 years.
That's what.
So that's actually one of the reasons why I got the job.
No way.
I was in the running for it, but when they were deliberating, I was like, I have a rapport, and so that helped.
Have you ever been like starstruck where it felt weird?
No.
Okay.
Actually, you know what's funny? The only time I've felt a little starstruck was the extrapolation shoot. They're all pretty famous. At that point, this is like 3 years ago. This is some of the most famous people I'd photographed in one room all together. But, it's a momentary lapse, and then I get back in the mood. Yeah, back in the zone.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be a nightmare. I just would say all of the stupid stuff.
I think asking questions is probably smarter, and that's what I do a lot. How you doing today? What music do you want to hear? Like, things that are going to get them
going.
going.
One that's like your secret sauce one that you don't want to tell? We can bleep this one out, don't worry.
I can always I can always put the camera down, look them in the eye and be like, just pretend like you like me. And then they will smile and I can get a shot of that.
That's pretty good.
That will always work.
Well, anyway, Jay, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
We love you lots.
Yeah, likewise.
Please subscribe. Bye.